I predicted wrongly that the Matt Gaetz scandal would take weeks or perhaps months to unfold, but no, they're pretty much just releasing everything. It's just all getting dumped. You get to binge this thing, so let's binge. A Justice Department investigation and a Representative Matt Gaetz and an indicted Florida politician is focusing, we now find out, on their involvement with multiple women who were recruited online for sex and received cash payments, according to people close to the investigation, and text messages and payment receipts reviewed by the New York Times. So when it comes to journalism, like with online burns, we like when people bring receipts, and apparently they've got them. But let me run you through a bit of the new revelations. Investigators believe that Joel Greenberg, who was indicted last year on a federal sex trafficking charge and other crimes, initially met the women through websites that connect people who go on dates in exchange for gifts, fine dining, travel, and allowances. According to 3 different people with knowledge of the encounters, Mr. Greenberg then introduced the women to Mr. Gaetz, who also had sex with them. Greenberg and Gaetz have been pictured together at many different events. Apparently, the connection is quite clear, even social. The Justice Department inquiry is also examining whether Mr. Gaetz had sex with a 17-year-old girl and whether she received anything of material value, according to 4 people familiar with the investigation. The sex trafficking count against Mr. Greenberg involved the same girl. The authorities have also investigated whether other men connected to Mr. Gaetz and Mr. Greenberg had sex with the 17-year-old, according to 2 different people. And the Times has received receipts from Cash App and Apple Pay that show payments from Gaetz and Greenberg to one of the women and a payment from Mr. Greenberg to a second woman. Women told their friends that the payments were for sex with the 2 men, according to 2 people familiar with the conversations. And I will just add that as the Gaetz thing has been unfolding, a lot of people's previous reporting and just observations on Twitter have sort of resurfaced. We have one. It's from the artist Coincel Pro saying, this is from June of last year. I just looked at Matt Gaetz's Venmo and he apparently knows a lot of extremely young looking women, LOL. Yeah, in hindsight, maybe not LOL. And we don't know if that means anything. It's just one of those fun little wrinkles, Viviana. But so far, based on what we have now learned, what do you think?
Well, what we do know for a fact is he doesn't see anything wrong with paying for sex. So we know that. That used to be something that people frowned upon in politics. Now he thinks it's okay as long as they're legal, especially Republicans, yeah. But and I'm not trashing sex workers. I mean, I think that is something that's an industry that's older than any other job, and there are some very valid people doing sex work out there. But this guy seems to be preying on underage girls and very young women, or much younger than him. I mean, his own fiance now is like 12 some years younger than him, which, okay, I hope they're happy. But this is really kind of showing a history of his behavior that he's admitted to, that he's been showing off. I mean, this frat boy mentality to the max, we keep seeing it. It's been here in politics for as long as we can remember, but it's out in the open now. And what do we expect after somebody who's been like the biggest fan of Donald Trump? This has been something that has been celebrated amongst men in the GOP, giving each other high fives and stuff about this kind of conquest. I mean, from Cuomo to Gaetz, we're seeing that this toxic masculinity in politics is at an all-time high, and it's out in the open. They're loud and proud about it.
Yeah. So there are some wrinkles to this that I think are more complex than a lot of the mainstream conversation around it is, in that I think, at least philosophically, in some sort of hypothetical world, full legalization of sex work could actually vastly improve the lives of people who choose to engage in that work.
Yep.
So all of that is true. That said, it hasn't been legalized, and he's an elected politician. So
pretty sure it's illegal.
Still the law. It's still the law. And then we might say, okay, well, that's true. You can certainly evaluate it based on if what he did was illegal. Second of all, the underage aspect, which is a whole nother level to this, where we're not talking about sex work anymore. We're talking about coercion, potential rape. Like it obviously that's another level. But then even if I were to choose to engage with this purely from the point of view of wanting legalization, people being brought out of the shadows, protection from trafficking and all of that, he's a conservative Republican. Okay,
right.
This is not in line with anything about his philosophy or anything like that. So even if it weren't illegal, which it appears quite a bit of it probably is, he is being at least drastically hypocritical in the way that he has talked about these things, the way he's presented himself, the way his party represents himself. So there are quite a few different levels where people can have a problem with this. And I think I just want to add those layers, because I think a lot of the high level conversation about this is sort of missing the nuance. Yeah.
I think that. Oh, go ahead, John.
No, continue.
No, I feel like we're looking at this. This is a guy. Mother Jones, by the way, has an amazing thread on Twitter. If you really want to get deep into who Matt Gaetz is, I mean, this is a guy who was raised with a silver spoon in his mouth and really has gotten where he is because of his father. And I guess in Florida they call him Baby Gates, which is pretty funny. So I go back to this frat boy mentality, and we're really, I mean, it's just run amok in politics, and it has been for many years. But here's another example of it, where this toxic masculinity is wrapped into there. But the guy is not guilty of just these kinds of atrocities. He's also used his power and connections to get out of really horrible things in the past, and really just a slimy guy. I mean, it's bad when Tucker Carlson thinks he's slimy. I mean, that's really bad.
Exactly.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.